March 11, 2011, a devastating earthquake and tsunami hit Japan. A year later, the country is on its way of rebuilding lives and communities. Bishop Isao Kikuchi shared with USAnews.com his experience of the tragedy and how the people of Japan, especially members of the Catholic Church and the relief organization Caritas, cope with the challenging times and walk with the people in their journey towards a new life and a new community.
When the disaster happened, it was very difficult to find out what is actually going on in Sendai area because mobile phone was not functioning and there was no way to use internet. There was electricity cut in the Sendai. So it was very difficult to find out what's actually happening. And it was already night. So we had a teleconference, myself, director, and the secretary of Caritas Japan, had the immediate teleconference, and we decided first and most, from following day, we will ask all the Japanese Catholic Church to contribute for the rescue activities of Caritas Japan. At the same time, we decided to go to Sendai immediately as soon as possible to find out what is actually going on. In Japan, usually such kind of the disaster happens, government and army or police will immediately go to the place for the rescue operation, and there are not so much for the NGOs to play in the activities of the rehabilitation and rescue. So we kind of the wait and see attitude to see that to fill the gap of the official assistance which will be given by the government and local government. So we wanted to see some of the things which are not fulfilled by the operation by the government. Mostly in Japan, we never had kind of such a big rescue operation and also rehabilitation operation for the disaster for the Caritas Japan, because usually the government is ready to do anything and they have such a big budget. But this time the thing was a bit different because such a multitude of the disaster and the government itself didn't know what to do. So we had a lot to play to support the effort of the local government. At this moment, we have supporting the Diocese of Sendai, the Bishop of Sendai, who established the support center in his office, which is coordinating the volunteers. And volunteers are sent to some of the volunteer stations or centers in the coastal areas in the parishes. We asked the several parishes to open up the volunteer center where the volunteers can come from all over Japan and stay for a few days and then negotiate with the local government to have some kind of the work for the volunteers to support the victims. So these operating the several of these the volunteer stations in the parishes is one of the main activities. And also our program officer of the Caritas Japan is going around to contact with the communities to find if there are any needs of the people which are not covered by the government assistance, such as rebuilding the shopping malls, or the organizing the community activities like a summer festival. Mainly at the beginning, the volunteers were sent by the local government to clean up the houses, because many of the houses are covered by the mud after the tsunami. So the main work for the volunteers at the beginning was to clean up the areas. But then after some time, like 2 months, 3 months, they started to, victims are shifted to the transitional housings. So now the volunteers are visiting these houses to listen to their story and also to ask for the needs or what they need. Now the majority or the most of the victims, or those who survived, shifted to the transitional housings. They are now making the new community, and according to the law in Japan, they may stay in these transitional houses for 2 years. After 2 years, they have to start their rebuilding of the community. So it may take many years, maybe 5 years, 10 years, to re-establish their original community, and they need assistance, which will not be provided by the official government assistance. So the Caritas Japan is ready to mobilize the volunteers to go around to contact with the communities, to accompany them so that they can re-establish their own community life again. After the disaster, we didn't know first and most how to cope with such a big disaster which never happened in Japanese history. Then immediately on the same day, in the 11th of March, in the midnight, I started to receive piles of the emails from all over the world, from the directors and those who are working for Caritas in different countries. And all of them are offering the prayers, of course, and also the assistance. So I was really grateful to all these Caritas members all over the world. From the day one, we know that we are in solidarity, we are living in solidarity, and we are not living in solitude. So the many Caritases, not even even the small Caritas in Asia, are willing to support the activities of Caritas Japan. So now at this moment we are asking most of the Caritas members to send the money to the Caritas Internationalis, and we will draw up the rehabilitation program, and then we'll ask the Caritas Internationalis to coordinate these donations to use for the rehabilitation activities in Japan. But at the same time, many Caritases in developed countries, they are willing to come to Japan to do some actual activities. So we are advising them to contact the local governments and also another NGOs to have a kind of the cooperation activities in Japan. For the church in Japan, this is the first time that the Bishops' Conference came together and decided to support the 1 or 2 dioceses which are hit by this disaster, and mobilize the people from all over Japan to send the people to the disaster area to support the people. For instance, there are 3 ecclesiastical provinces in Japan: Tokyo, Osaka, and Nagasaki. Osaka and Nagasaki provinces already built their own center for the volunteers in the disaster area. So establishing the center, such center, it means that the Catholic Church in Japan are willing to continue the support activities for many more years, because we just built the houses for such kind of centers in the disaster area. And also the Tokyo province is also mobilizing many professional people to go to the area to support, especially in the Fukushima area, where nobody knows actually what is happening, and nobody knows when the people can go back because of the nuclear power plant disaster accident. So it may take time, but the Catholic Church in Japan is willing. But it's not only the Catholic Church as such, but also we involve both male and the female religious congregations, especially the sisters. From the beginning, the sisters are sending the volunteer sisters to the disaster area to be one in charge of the volunteer centers in the coastal parishes, and supporting the volunteers, providing the food, and also providing spiritual care to the volunteers, which is very much appreciated. Personally, I came from Miyako City, which is one of the cities hit by the tsunami. When I was a small boy, I remember that my parents took me to the area where the coastal area which is hit by the tsunami maybe 100 years ago, and they showed me the height of the tsunami which hit the area which is written in the history. And then after that, my parents would tell me that don't worry, because there is a high protection wall built around the town, so there will be no problem if such kind of the high tsunami comes. So I was sure that if the tsunami comes, then nothing will happen to that city. But actually, after this disaster, we saw several times the images of how the tsunami attacked the city of Miyako, and one part of the Miyako city is completely destroyed. So it was really shocking for me, and I'm still trying to cope with that shock. Fortunately, none of my relatives are hurt, but several of my friends lost their houses. So it was really difficult time for me, but also the disaster taught me a lesson that we cannot just rely on the human wisdom. There is a limit for the human wisdom and human technology. So we have to be very much humble in front of the power of the Mother Nature. I'd like to thank sincerely to all the people who offer the prayers for the victims, and also who send the messages of the condolences, and also those who send the money, donations to support the activities of Caritas Japan and also the Catholic Church. And also, I'm very much grateful to all of you who said a special prayer on the first anniversary of the disaster, the 11th of March this year. So thank you very much, and I would like to ask you kindly to continue to remember us and Japanese people in your prayer. So thank you very much.